Hello, everybody. This is CM Sirius. So, another episode of Factorio Space Age. So, I've been really going busy on Vulcanus. I've got about 20 rocket silos, fully operational, just to launch a cargo into the iron trawler. Pretty much got the metallurgic science figured out there. Not to mention, I've been really expanding on equipment that really focuses on infrastructure such as modules and all that. The original coal field I had up here has finally ran out. I'm still having some coal go up here from another coal area to create explosives with. I still have some dismantling to do, but at this rate I'm not too worried about dismantling everything yet. But yeah, got Vulcanus. And I've been earlier in the series, I was projecting on making Novice like a research production area, but I'm going to actually have Vulcanus be the research production planet instead, just based on the fact that I can get all the iron and copper practically free. Because of that, I've already made a bunch of, I already made all the basic sciences, but not only like one set of arrays of basic sciences, but two. So I have like twice the production. Vulcanus is already outproducing Novice by a big margin. Not to mention that I not only have like two of each side, two building systems dedicated to each respective sciences. Not just one, but two on this planet. On speed modules, well, on assembly machines 3s, and sped up all the way with productivity. So all these working together, Vulcanus is going very strong. Oops. That's one little mistake I've made. I'm not too worried about balancing this out, as long as it's just enough to have all the stone that I'm not needing get properly discarded. But yeah, I got two sets of production science being produced. I got two sets of utility science being produced, chemical science, military science, as well as automation science and logistics science. Oh. I did not account for this here. It's an easy fix I can do real quick. Little mistakes. Meantime, I'm keeping the bots and stuff busy, slowly building up the reinforced concrete as a primary means of walking on Vulcanus at the areas that are most relevant to it. This base is solely powered on solar power. Vulcanus has 300% solar energy production, and is able to redirect all the solar panels I've created in the middle towards the outer edges. Now that I've pretty much killed off all the demolishers I could. Nothing but big demolishers, and big demolishers with health regeneration at 2,400 HP per second, and me dealing considerably less than that per second. even if I were to be meeting these guys' health regeneration, it's really not worth trying to fight these just based on the fact that these guys have a real large HP pool. Not unless I'm able to inflict a massive amount of damage at once, way past their health regeneration rate. So for now on Vulcanus, I've expanded as far as I can. In the meantime, I was building up all the sciences. I've been going crazy with mining productivity and other productivity, such as low density structure productivity and steel plate productivity. Because of Vulcanus supplementing what's going on Novice, I'm able to go through all this quite rapidly, actually. I did restructure Novice's science system. I cannibalized the original science system. These here will, the inserts to these chests will only work if there's less than a certain kind of science in the logistics network, which I have set up mass storage by a bunch of buffer chests. These buffer chests will have their own request system, requesting certain resources go to various spots. I choose buffer chests just based on the fact that I can have them request, but also have request chests being able to request off these buffer chests. So, request from buffer chests, with me locating most of my sciences to an area more centralized to my science production here. These buffer chests will be requesting things should all of the regular request chests at the science stations be full of their sciences. And these requester chests will then be pulling from the buffer chest. So I placed them in a center there to have like a less prioritized central system, but more centralized to minimize travel distance for the requester chests. Plus, too, should a burst of sciences come from the logistics center here, it'll all immediately either go, well, first of all, it'll go immediately to the requester chest first, and then anything remaining will go into these buffer chests based on what these are requesting. I have each of these buffer chests requesting 9,000 of each of the sciences. Should any of these chests dip down to like below 500 as specified per inserter, then these inserters will put the respective sciences into the passive provider chests. And it will then trickle into this whole science array. But it looks like this is able to go at 650 science packs per minute here. Now, I don't think it's maintaining that at a consistent rate due to the fact that the iron trawler can only accept so much going into it at once. These rockets can only fill up so fast. But the good news is, though, they should be able to get stocked up pretty fast by the time the iron trawler comes back. Now, the iron trawler is doing a good job at routing things back and forth. However, science packs are not the sole purpose of the iron trawler. So that to me warrants a question of whether or not I should create another ship. And another ship I shall create. In the previous episode, I've alluded to the idea of creating a new ship. Now, because of the fact this is on Vulcanus, where this cargo ship's going to be picking the sides up at, I can safely have it be powered by a laser system. Now, I will be creating more science ships. I'm thinking about maybe 2 of these. So that way I'm having one science ship towards one area, grabbing things from Vulcanus, just drop it off, while others will be present at Novice, depositing what it has in its inventory. Go science cargo ship that. Have it be constructed on Novice. I should have another one of those science starter packs. How do I access the, Oh, uh-oh. Running into problems of not having enough of... Oh. That is my oopsies. New problems every day to come across. The reason why I also want to make a dedicated science ship is because the science ship is going to have a bigger cargo hold than the iron trawler by a factor of 2. The iron trawler can only carry about 4,500 of each color of science at a time. Anything higher than that, and well, I'm not going to be meeting the ship's needs. Or my factory's needs, due to the possibility that too much of one science would be overfilling another, thus jamming up the logistics of the ship going back and forth. So this science ship should be able to hold 9,000 of each of the respective basic sciences, as well as the metallurgic science from Vulcanus. These, that's because these are of our quality. I have to delete these real quick, then place them down again. Some of these ships are actually, some of these silos are actually at uncommon quality. That's why I was stalling out a little bit. Alright, that should expedite things a little bit. So, my next question is where is the starter pack? Go into the steel station here and tell it to stop requesting things. At this rate, I'm so high on productivity here that I don't think I even need to invest more into this area. I still will invest more resources into it just for the sake of getting things done, but yeah, nice to see that Novice is going to be having a passive supply of steel. Not that I'll be using it a whole lot anymore, considering that Novice is going to be a science processing exclusive place. I'm gonna make this thing Never mind. It did it already. Guess I was anticipating this to be so fast. So, for sure a bigger cargo bay. So the iron trawler has like what? 10 if I recall right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 10. I'm gonna give this science ship 20. Now because of the fact it's not designed to be harvesting iron as the torch travels, I'm not gonna make it as wide. Now I do want this to be a quicker ship, so I may increase a little bit more thrusters to it, but I also want to have like a pointed and more narrow profile here so that way it's able to go considerably faster. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll add 2 more just to give it breathing space. I always believe in slightly overbuilding everything. You never know when you need that space. And the rest I can just simply prune out. Plot that up there and up there and there. Ship that stuff is already 5.1k. Alright. It's for sure gonna be another big ship. I do not intend on processing iron plates on this ship. This will be for central iron, not that I need to make use of it. I just have like a steady stream of iron going into it to use for oxidizers. Now, I will want to put some crusher stuff on there. Actually, I want to put the metallic one in the middle here. Now we put the oxide one towards the right. I guess that 4-lane balancer isn't really necessary. It's alright. I can control X, control paste everything. And then I'll slap down the carbonic entrance there. Okay, I put that a little too close. I have no plans on... Two lanes of each is enough to go on from each side. I'm just doing this just for the sake of keeping options open. Alrighty. That should be enough for all the asteroids. You know, I wonder something. Do I have advanced asteroid processing unlocked already? I don't think I do. Well, I'm not spotting it. I'm not going to dive too much into research. Though what I can do, though, is... Put this up, though. Okay, so I do. That's 2 seconds. I don't plan on having this export its goods down into the planets from the belt cache, so what I'm thinking is to have the system reprocess all the asteroids to prioritize production for oxide asteroid processing, just for sake of being able to have this produce its own water. That's another matter on its own. You know what? Here's what I'll do. I'll make these output, actually. The oxide stuff does produce water. Ice for these chemical plants. I can just start getting water being producible. Water tanks. And I actually find that having water tanks in here, finding that all the fluid pipes tends to equal each other out relative in proportion, regardless of tank capacity. So half a tank was guaranteed to have pipes equal out to halfway being filled all the time, which means I can have more reliable throughput going through. Took a while playing around with Vulcanus to realize that. Why am I getting ready to slap down substations? Is this like, what, 20 per second? Project it to being this fast, but at this point, we could use all the stuff I can use. I'll have this filter out for ice. How many ice per second would this consume? Well, nothing yet, but let's see here. This is like what? 40% boost? 30 actually, so it's 90. Basically about 2 per sec, almost 2 per second from each machine. Space this out one tile. Make room for one side for oxides of production, the other side for water production, or fuel production. This is for fuel. Wrong item. Iron. This will work as long as this here isn't greater than, I'm going to say 1,000. This will be for right side, right? Yeah, carbon oxide's the right side. And then this here will be for iron. Alright, that should occupy about 1, 2, 3 rows. No more than that, anyways. Just throw down some solar panels here. $7.9. So 2 us can yield 37.9 throughput per second. This is 9.49. So 37.9. So 37.9 times 4. 151.6. And then this will record 9.49. So that divided by 9.49. I'm going to say 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Three, 4. 16 each side. Double check my math real quick. So 37.9 times 4 is 151.6 watt per second being produced. And then divided by 9.49 water demand. Yes, about 15.97, so 16 speed modules here. Though that might change though, depending on bunch of things. This is like what, 180 kilowatts. Yeah, this is gonna be heavy on sort of thing. Alrighty. And then I'll need space to put next each of respective fluid items in. Create large cache for fluids. Flip thrusters. One side's for fuel, the other side's for oxidizer. I only need one pump, but I will put buffer space on this though. This way it's not so what goes in this tank will better average out with all the pipes. Besides for it for fuel, right? Yes. That's the fuel side. That's the oxidizer side. Cool. It's like, what, 10 thrusters? It's going to be a relatively big and heavy ship, but that will be more centralized for power production. Mill there will have the circuit throttling everything, and I'll have to see how the lasers stuff handle the throughput of this sort of thing. I do want to keep a narrow profile with the ship here. Alright, so that's the 3 caches created. Getting carbon ain't a problem. Getting metallic ain't a problem. Oxidizer, on the other hand, is, so I'm gonna have to quickly create a system that specializes in processing these things. So how do I go about this? This is for oxidizer, so I don't have to worry about that. I mean, it's gonna be one of the 3. So it has a 40% chance of... Okay. So it has like a 40% chance to create what got put into it. Additional 20 for one or the other. So what I can do here is... use filter function to aware if it's gotten any asteroid. That get recycled back in. Have that be prioritized. And this will prioritize this side, for it will act as overflow. And it's carbonic. It'll get recycled back in. Is that... that taking priority. So I've got a whole lot of designing to do. So at some point I might have to cut this short at some point. Because this is actually my first time playing with such recipes like this here. Okay, what is going on? I have to... Well, I'm bug expansion. It's not too big of a problem. It's not like it's breaching the outer defenses. Oxidizer asteroid can then go down there. Be recirculated at priority. Now I gotta think about how to stuff in that stuff for processing the carbonic stuff down into oxide. Probably similar idea, but in reverse. Maybe not, actually. Thinking about this more and more. Check my connections here. So overflow will go into here. Got the process back in to the belt. That there. Or to the next one to pull things out. Okay, that works. It'll come out as carbonic. which I don't want it to be going down. This will loop the carbonic stuff back up to its closed circle. Alright, that should be more than enough for each respective sciences. I don't project myself needing anything like this, but just in case if I have to supplement water drums here. And this prevent any jam ups. It should equal 0. So basically what I'm doing here is having to work any overflowing asteroids that's either carbonic or metallic will get reprocessed, where it's always output, where it has a chance of outputting oxidizers, the oxidized asteroids down into the oxidized belt just for sake of maximizing water throughput, or we're rolling it to either the carbonic or metallic versions. This way, these can keep re-rolling themselves into a point where they have an outcome that favors more of the oxidized asteroids. This way, more water can be cycled through. I'm gonna keep on focusing on building the ship. But when I get the ship fully built up, then I will definitely air the next episode for Factorio Space Age here, so big progress was made with this. Ooh, I like that statistic a lot better. And when I get this ship going back and forth, things will be a lot more laminar in terms of how many, of how long science per minute gets processed. Especially with this ship being a bigger one. And I might actually use this ship design to do other things too as well, depending on what's around. I may actually wind up modifying such ship design too as well for going to certain planets and whatnot, because I can't always go solar power. Especially if we're talking about going to Fulgora or Gelba or even Aquilo. I'll have to do like a bit of a debugging test on this as I go to see how things go. Once I'm ready to go flying with the ship anyways. Anyhow, I will see y'all in the next episode of Factorio. Oh, what's this? Man, there. I gotta attend to this. Anyhow, y'all, cheers. This is why I want artillery.